the mindset of these people. They had such an ideology that they would rather die than surrender to the Allied forces.
Can you tell us about this flag?
Da.
Hello everybody, this is War Story Video Vlog. I am Alex and here we are in Craig's museum. Hello Craig.
Hey Alex, good to see you again.
Good to see you too. Last video we post got a lot of really positive feedback.
Yes.
And it was really pleasure. Thank you guys for your feedback, and thank you Craig for sharing this story with us.
My pleasure.
Yes, and now you told us that you have some new items in your museum, because
Yes.
Last time we filmed here 4 months ago, as I remember.
Correct.
Yes, it's about 4 months ago. I guess you received parcels and packages every day or every week with new stuff, with new war souvenirs, and I would like to pay attention of our viewers that all swastikas, all flags, or all items with this stuff is not propaganda, is original war souvenirs that veterans brought back from Europe in 40s and 50s. And could you tell us about these war souvenirs you just received? And
yes, certainly. We've been buying a number of items that have been coming into the store. We've also been buying a number of collections from collectors who have passed. And we've picked up quite a few new things for the museum since you were here last time.
For example, this item is very interesting. It's like a hate belt.
Yes.
But it's like hate map case.
Correct. Yes, it has pips on it, gulls, and off a German crash helmet. And a veteran did all of that before he came home. Just like he did put an eagle on this holster to hear that he had custom made for his souvenir to bring home his German pistol, probably a P38 or a Luger fit in here.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's also like symbol of good hunting for enemy.
Yes, yes, very much.
Yeah, and if it's not a secret, how much is this stuff?
That's probably, I don't know, it's a very unique, it's a one of a kind.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I would think that that's probably a $300-400 map case, but I didn't try to sell it. I decided to keep it for me, so,
yeah.
You know, who knows until you try to sell it, but that would be my guess.
It's a good decision, because I also like this stuff like that, and on last Unmilitary Antique show in Wilmington, Ohio, I also bought one hate belt. You guys see it on your screens. And this hate belt has Hitler use belt buckle and a bunch of insignia. You can see it. So I also excited, and I will show it to you. Guys are lucky they
Okay.
see it before you. But anyway, this one is really cool. And he had good taste.
Yes.
Yes.
You could tell it was done wartime.
Yeah, and this one is also.
Yeah, Fire Police.
Fire Police. And this cockade is...
And it's KK crash helmet,
yeah.
Eagle.
Cool. And what else do you have?
We've added, I bought a bunch of German helmets, so I upgraded my World War I helmets to ones that have chin straps. Also, we've picked up several vet lots. The neat thing about that is that you have the U.S. items from the soldier, and then you have the German items or the foreign items that they brought back. So we have a little bit of each, which we'll show you here momentarily. One of them, we have a lot of German stuff that came back from the guy. Another one, we have the U.S. guy's stuff and the German stuff. We also picked up a really neat Silver Star Purple Heart grouping for a guy from town here in South Milwaukee that was killed in the 95th Division in World War II, and then his brother, who was in the Navy, that survived. So two brothers went to war, one came back and one didn't. And we have both of the things displayed side by side.
Yeah, and we will see it a little bit later. It's very interesting grouping. Craig, can we begin with the German items, and then with Japanese, and then go to that section, that veteran section?
Let's do it, it's a plan.
Can you tell us about this flag and this amazing piece? I saw it in the last day I've been here 4 months ago.
Yes, this is a World War II German battle flag, and it is signed by a gentleman from South Milwaukee whose family, the Dretskas, have had a department store in Cudahy, the neighboring town, since before World War II. It's a unique piece because you see a lot of the German banners that are signed, but not too many battle flags. So this one is a local one from the area, plus he had all these other guys in his unit sign it, and it's in pristine condition. I was happy to obtain this piece and put it in my museum.
Yeah, congratulations, really nice item, really cool one. And also it's a war souvenir, and we can see how German flags used after the war, and it was like after summer camp piece.
Yes, they took a piece off the battlefield and they made that piece a souvenir to bring back. So it had double meaning to them. It had meaning to them because it was a souvenir of war from the Germans, from the battles that they were in, but also a souvenir with all of their buddies to commemorate their service. So it had dual meaning to these veterans.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's how I would like to show items, and that's cool. And we can see update here in this display.
Yes, this is a German Army single decal helmet that was mailed home by a veteran from Milwaukee, and this is the original crate that it was mailed home in. The crate's now warped, and I don't know that you could seal the lid on it anymore, but at one time, this is how, and you could still see the address, the to and from address. But the crate is warped over time, but this is a souvenir that's local, and that's why I chose to put it in the museum. Over here, we have a very, very unique and rare grouping that I picked up. It's from Dr. Lisso, and he was the vice mayor and the city treasurer of Leipzig, Germany, during World War II. He was given a SS double-claw sniper rifle, which is engraved to him on the scope, all matching with the original case, which matches the weapon, his Reichsministry marked PP. Then I recently obtained his police marked Luger, which has his name inside of the holster, and it was actually made in Leipzig, all matching, including the magazine. Then we have the poison bottle that he used to kill his daughter and his wife and himself in his office. Then we have the Red Cross armband and insignia that was taken off his daughter's body. This is a very famous scene at the end of World War II. And again, it was a very unique souvenir opportunity. And basically it showed, and we also have his wallet with his name in it that's full of cash. I think he was planning on ditching town, and then as the Allied forces got closer, decided that was no longer an option, that he couldn't escape. So rather than surrender to Allied forces, he decided not only to take his own life, but that of his daughter and his wife as well. So that's how the mindset of these people, they had such an ideology that they would rather die than surrender to the Allied forces. It's a very, very unique set of souvenirs that were brought home by a U.S. veteran from Minnesota. I absolutely had to add it to the museum.
And can I see the PO8?
Of course.
Yeah, it's really interesting because it's all matching numbers here, even magazine also. So it's really interesting because most of them has been changed.
Correct.
During the war or during the action or stuff like that. So it's very interesting.
It does have the original holster, which has his name in it and police marked. It does have an extra magazine. That magazine doesn't match. But if you look on the back, it was made in Leipzig, in the very city that he served.
Yeah, that's very interesting grouping. And
a Banner 1940 Mauser, very nice.
And it's hard to believe this group was together all these years. So
the veteran passed in, I believe, 2002, and his family sold it to the guy that I got it from. So for 20 years, he maintained it. So I can tell you who had it from the time that it belonged to this guy to now. There's only been a few people that have had this in their possession.
That's very interesting, very interesting.
And very important stuff with this pistol, we can see here original Waffenamt marks, because it's very important and it's very valuable for this kind of pistol, for this model.
And probably in the United States there is a biggest market of military antiques, and probably because of that you have bunch of stuff here, like untouched, and that's very interesting. And here in the museum, you already show, and we will see it later, the whole group that veteran brought back here in the United States, all his souvenirs and stuff. But anyway, here you want to show us this very interesting piece.
Yes, this is a very unique piece. This is a World War II German potato masher that is a training grenade. It's Waffenamt and marked on the handle. I've had numerous potato mashers over the years, but this is the first training grenade that I've ever owned or seen ever anywhere in 40 some years.
Because you have to have the opportunity to send bunch of stuff home for send the training mashed potatoes grenade. Because probably it was not make sense if you have to make decision send this one or PO8. Pretty sure you will see PO8.
Yes,
not this stuff.
And
so that's why it's pretty rare.
The market is changing. Back in the day, 20 years ago, a lot of dealers and even collectors would break up veterans groupings. They'd buy the Foot Locker and they'd sell everything separately. Now there's more of a legitimate market for keeping these items together as a one guy's souvenirs of everything that he brought back. It's starting to catch on a lot more. It's always been a thing for museums, but now it's becoming a thing for collectors as well, because dealers used to break them up and sell them individually because they get more money. Now that trend is starting to change a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. I see the same. And in years ago, it was a situation in the market that mint items in mint condition cost about the same price like items in creepy condition. And some guys who do not like items in mint conditions, they like worn things, they bought that stuff more. But now mint items cost 2-3 times more than regular condition.
Right.
So,
there are two kind of schools of thought. One, people who collect mint items and people who like used items. Mint items never went to the battlefield. Used items went to the battlefield. Me personally, I've always liked the used stuff, the stuff that's been there. It has a story. The other stuff's sat on a shelf somewhere. So to me, it's in better shape, but it's not as important in my mind.
I like both. And now we have opportunity to touch this rifle, this sniper rifle, and can I hold
Of course.
this? Thank you. There is engraving here, 20th April 1943. It's a Führer birthday, and Ein Volk, ein Reich, ein Führer. It's like German Nazi slogan, and it was probably very important for that guy.
Yes.
Yeah, and wow.
There was a SS contingent in Leipzig. So my guess is they were the ones that presented this to him. You know, it was a tradition to give gifts on Hitler's birthday. So he must have had some friend in the SS who gave him this beautiful gift on Hitler's birthday.
Yeah, it's in a great shape. Probably he didn't use it.
Probably not much.
Uh-oh, Batman.
Batman wants to say hi.
Sure, he can't do that. It's his museum.
That's right. He is the acting curator of the museum.
Yeah, it's 75, 85.
Yeah, it's all matching, including the scope case, which is in the case there, and the scope case serial number matches the gun too.
Oh, wow, it's unbelievable complete. And that's also nice, it's pretty clean.
Yes.
Clear.
Yes.
Yeah, wow. And I like finishing, and I like bluing, because it's like brand new.
Yes.
This one is really mint condition.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for opportunity to touch it.
My pleasure.
And I have a story about the same pistol, about this Radom I found 15 years ago in Leningrad area near the St. Petersburg, and it was a huge battle around the city. And it was German nurse who has been killed in action, and I found him with this pistol, with belt buckle, with medical pouches, with ID tag, and he has been killed in January of 1943, and it was a really huge battle for deblockade the St. Petersburg.
Okay.
And he was in the front trench, and he had no fist, and probably the Russian grenade blown when he tried to drop it back from the trench. And also I have the name, that guy, as I remember his Günther Orst.
Oh,
Günther
wow.
Orst, yeah, because I sent the information to German organization, special organization for rebury the bodies, and they told me the name. They reburied him with a ceremony, and after that, then they sent me his name. He was 40 years old, combat nurse, and yeah, I had his pistol. It was in not a great shape, but it was with buckled grips, and I clearly see all stamps and numbers and all stuff like that. So that's why every time when I see it, it's like a
Yeah.
story. Yeah. So thank you for opportunity to share this story with you guys.
No problem.
Yeah. And this grouping is very impressive because we can see here a part of clothes with insignia. Could you tell us a story about it?
So this is a German Wehrmacht soldier, and the story that I was told, I obtained this a few weeks ago at the Minneapolis Military Show. This is supposedly the soldier here. This is a copy of the picture. The family wouldn't part with the original, but he took parts of all the insignia, his dog tag, shoulder board, everything off his uniform, and he cut it off. So there's a interest in cut off insignia now. These are worth more cut off than they are by themselves, and this is all cut off one guy, which is pretty unique and rare. It's a very unique battlefield souvenir.
Yeah. And let's see, Pioneer Ersatz Company #1. So he was a Pioneer company, this guy. Yeah, it's very interesting. Very interesting. It's also it's like
Maybe he was involved in building these for
yes, probably
possibly.
he was machine gunner, and when they just killed them, they just have to cut some souvenirs to in remembrance. Probably he killed his
Some of his buddies, so he's like, we'll get him.
But anyway, it's a history, and this display case like tell us a story.
Right.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And what else do you have? And there is a...
I have a very unique grouping from a gentleman from Whitefish Bay, and I have his uniform, which is his post-war uniform. I'm working on trying to get his wartime one, but he was in the 32nd Division, but he was also overseas with a different unit, and he brought back a lot of German things, including a Luger with capture papers, a police PP, and a bunch of other things, which we'll see on the wall over there.
Let's see it.
This is a new uniform that I picked up, and it was foreign made, I believe maybe Italian. The guy was an enlisted man first and then got some type of a promotion to officer, and so they converted his combat uniform. But it's very unique because it's an enlisted combat belt and buckle, but someone took wartime, they took a German machine gun belt and made it to hold cartridges for a pistol, probably a P38 or a Luger.
That's very interesting, and sometimes we can see in period pictures like machine gun belts, like a crossbody to hold more ammunition on the body. Yeah, that's very interesting.
So this is a grouping from a gentleman who was in the 32nd Division from Wisconsin. He was from Whitefish Bay, just north of Milwaukee. And he was with the 5th Army in World War II, and then with the 32nd Division again afterwards. So this is his immediate post-war uniform, but this is all the German stuff that he brought back, to include a Luger with capture papers, a police PP. We've got an NSKK dagger, which is unique because there's no engraving on the blade. Maybe it wasn't finished in the factory. I'm not sure. Joe Pankowski says he's seen a few over his lifetime, and we're not really sure what that is. But there's a German battle flag. We got some headgear, a medical canteen, and then this is all German pilot's badge and all things that he brought back with all of his paperwork, his original discharge, everything here. It's like a time capsule. It's like an encapsulation of his service all in one shot. Very unique. This is what a lot of people are trying to get. This is the type of thing that 20, 30 years ago was broken up and everything was sold individually, where now a lot of collectors are seeing more value in keeping it together, just like museums always have.
Yeah, that's very interesting grouping. And what is the most valuable item in this group?
The Luger with the capture papers.
Yeah, and is the capture papers mention the situation when it has been?
No, but this came from a collection of a gentleman who died, and one of my friends has been buying things from the family, and it mentions that there's a picture of the German that the Luger came off of, and he hasn't found that yet, but I'm hoping that eventually he will find that.
And could you show us this amazing group of...
It's truly amazing. This is a piece of history right here. These two gentlemen, two brothers, the older brother who joined the Army and the younger brother who joined the Navy, were born and raised just literally a few blocks from my shop and museum here. And one brother went into the 95th Infantry Division, and he was killed in World War II, and he earned a Bronze Star, or I'm sorry, a Purple Heart and a Silver Star. And then he never made it home, of course. And then his other younger brother was in the Navy in World War II, in the Amphibious Navy, and he made it home. So these items came from the family of the younger brother who survived. So this is very, especially for the shop and the museum here, these guys grew up a few blocks away from here. So what this guy did to earn the Silver Star is truly amazing. It's my personal feeling he should have got at least a Distinguished Service Cross, if not a Medal of Honor for what he did. The citation reads, "For gallantry in action against the enemy on 1 April 1945, in the vicinity of Augsdorf, Germany, serving as a scout, Private First Class Poplar pointed out concealed enemy positions in woodland near Augsdorf and led his squad in reducing them in violent firefighting. Private First Class Poplar killed and wounded 5 German snipers on the way. Later he was wounded by a sniper, but seeing a wounded comrade, he carried him half a mile to a barn where first aid was administered to both of them. Then, in spite of his wound, Private First Class Poplar returned to his squad to carry on with the attack. On 9 April 1945, Private First Class Poplar was killed in action in Germany. His gallantry is in keeping with the highest traditions of the military service and reflects great lasting honor on himself. The decoration will be forwarded to the Commanding General, 6th Service Command, Chicago, who will select an officer to make the presentation. The officer selected will communicate with you concerning the wishes on this matter." And it's signed Major General Witchell, acting the Adjutant General. So you get the family gets the Purple Heart, okay? Mm-hmm. Then they get the presidential accolade, and you get the citation, the document. Then these are from the Quartermaster Department later on asking, what do you want done with the body? Do you want it left in Europe? Do you want it brought back to Wisconsin? What do you want to do? This is a picture of him. This is a picture of his wife. His wife died recently, never remarried. He was killed during World War II. She never married again. Then this is the American Legion Gold Star citation. That is from the American Legion post in South Milwaukee, a few blocks from here. Gold Star Mother is awarded to the mother of the guy who was killed. So in other words, once a blue star is serving overseas, a gold star means they were killed. So once you're a gold star, that's an honor that you don't want, but an honor that you're given that stays with you the rest of your life.
And in the end of the video, this section with Japanese stuff.
Yes, we've obtained some really interesting new Japanese items that our veteran bring back. Specifically, a Japanese ordnance collection brought home by a Navy ordnance man that I obtained from his son with original capture papers. So we have some Japanese shells. This is very unique here. This is a Japanese Kiska grenade shipping container with 2 grenades in it. I have the launcher on the rifle, and that's what one of the Kiska grenades look like. There's a Japanese stick grenade, which is very rare. And then I have a bunch of different fuses and fragmentation grenades and stuff that he brought back. He was an ordnance man, so he liked ordnance, so that's what he brought back. And the capture papers are still with it, which is very unique and rare. Some guys brought this stuff back. Very few of them bothered to fill out the capture papers and bring that back too.
And how did you get it?
I was at a gun show, and the son brought the stuff in and wanted to sell it, and I bought it from him at the show.
So you have big table on the show, and guys just came to you and
Yeah, the
asked
son
you to-
came to me and asked me if I was interested in buying it. In fact, he himself was a Vietnam veteran and has a bunch of his stuff that he's supposed to be getting to me and some other things. So I hope I hear from him, because I would love to show him his father's things in the museum, but I'd also like to get the Vietnam things that he brought back as well.
That's very interesting. And I have a question. Probably it sounds strange, but how legal is it to buy or sell items like World War II period and early here in United States between private person?
Yes, these things are easy. They're legal. The nice thing about it is he was an ordnance man and he knew ordnance. So it says right on the capture papers that they were all inerted. So they're no longer live. So that's the key. Obviously, if the grenades were live, it would be illegal to sell. But because they are inert and no longer active, and it says so on the capture papers, that really helps out a lot. Otherwise, you're not sure if it's live or not. That could be a problem.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much for your displays, and you keep it together. And you have a few more sections of your museum. For example, Iraqi items. You have full room of this stuff, and probably we can film video about Iraqi items and about this silverware.
Yes.
And plates and all stuff.
Yeah, we
And
certainly can.
And if you're interested in this video, it would be great to show you, because I'm really interested in. I used to curious about these items, but now I have opportunity to learn it. And if you learn something every day, that's great.
That's right.
So we are waiting for your comments. Is it interesting for you to see Iraqi items tutorials? And if so, we can do that for you. Okay guys, thank you for watching this video until the end, and press all buttons I asked you to press. And thank you very much for inviting me, and I hope we will see real soon.
My pleasure. All right.